The ability to make fire by friction is an essential skill for any bushcraft practitioner or survivalist. And it's probably fair to say that if you can't do that at will, you're unlikely to survive long term in a wilderness environment. One of the first methods we use to teach fire by friction is the fire roll. Now, it's a method that's thought to have been created by prisoners of war during World War II, and necessity being the mother of invention, it's thought they created this so that they could create an ember that would allow them to light their cigarettes. It was later publicised as a method by a chap called Rüdiger Roll, who was a German survival expert. And in fact, he started off as a pastry chef and then became involved in the great outdoors and became a survival expert. And he published this method, and it's also therefore sometimes known as the Rüdiger Roll. To do this, we're going to need some wood ash, a cotton wool ball, and 2 planks of wood. Now, it might seem odd that I started by saying to survive in a wilderness environment, because you're unlikely to either be carrying 2 planks of wood or find them in the woods. However, this is how we start teaching the method to build confidence, and then later I can show you how to replace the planks with processed timber and how to replace the cotton wool ball with natural fibres. You will always, though, need the wood ash. So let's have a look at that now. Okay, so one of the first things to do is prepare our cotton wool. And although they're called cotton wool balls, they're not really. They're actually rolls of cotton wool. And if you look carefully, you can actually find the end of the roll on the outside. And then once you've found that, you can tease it open. So let's have a go at finding the end. It can be a bit tricky sometimes, but just be careful to tease it when you've found the direction of the roll. So that could be close. There we go. So once I've found the end, I can then unroll the cotton wool. And once I've done that, I'll then tease it open again, just spreading the cotton wool to make a long cotton wool rectangle. So the next stage is to put in the ash. So this is my supply of ash. You'll notice that this board's been used quite a few times, so it's got ash on the board itself. That's quite a good idea as well. So if this is your first time and it's a fresh board, if you take a little bit of ash and just spread it on the board, that can sometimes help when you make the roll later. So I take some ash and that's probably a little bit too much, but I'll take the ash and I'll sprinkle it on the edges here. You want to try and avoid any big bits in the ash as well, or if you do get any big bits, just crush them before they go onto the roll. Put the rest back. Always a good idea to keep a store of ash in your pack when you're out and about in the wilderness, because it does aid fire making. So, having done that, I'm then going to pinch grip and roll up the fire roll as tightly as possible. Quite often beginners tend to rush at this stage, and this is where most of the mistakes are made, is in the preparation of the roll itself. I generally tuck in the ends as well here, just to stop the ash from falling out later, but keep rolling as tightly a bundle as you can. Every now and then tucking in the ends.
until I get to almost finishing, but not quite. Then I'll take my hand, place my finger on the roll, and I'll roll it down my hand, finishing at my palm. Then pick it up, bring it back, and roll again in the same direction. Pick it up, bring it back, roll in the same direction. Don't be tempted to roll it back at this stage, just keep it going in one direction. It's starting to pick up some of the ash on the outside as well from the board. Once I've done it as tightly as I can with my hand, I'll then take the board I'm going to put on top and I'll roll it a couple of times in the same way with the upper board. Put a bit of pressure on, bring it back. Again, don't be tempted to roll it back yet, just push and stop. Bring it back. Now this isn't an ideal platform because it shakes quite a lot. I've come indoors because it's raining. The best, you really want a firm, stable platform to do the roll, and that also something to stop the bottom board slipping. So once I've done this a few times and it feels like the roll isn't compressing anymore, then I think we're just about ready. So that's it, that's a compact roll. So what I then start doing is the ember itself, or the fire roll itself. To do that, I'm going to start by going forwards and backwards along the board. The importance of here is going forwards and backwards. Don't go sideways, because that will push the fire roll off the edge. And start slowly building up speed and pressure. Now you'll know when it's working because you'll smell it first, and that's starting to smell quite strong now. You can smell the burn, and also you'll notice it's starting to, hopefully you can see that it's smoking by itself. You don't have to try and push the top boards through the bottom one. Don't be tempted to put too much pressure on, because that will just destroy the roll, but you'll get used to how much pressure you need to put on to get the whole thing going. Another mistake that people make now is that they start messing with it and start wanting to get in there and tampering. Just leave it, because right now the ember's growing inside and it's starting to gain in temperature, and it will smoulder for quite a long time. There is no rush. What I would have done previously is, I was going to make a fire, is that I've made my bird's nest out of my dry tinder, and I'd have made that ready to one side. So what I'll do now is I'll have a look at this and I'll just tease it open to show you what's going on inside. So there we go, inside. If I now blow on that, there's our ember or our coal. Like I say, we have our tinder bundle, we put it in, cover it over, and then blow gently to heat up the tinder. As it is, I'm indoors, so I'd better snuff this out. And what I'll do to do that is I'll just put it in this tin, and then I'll put the top on and start a bit of oxygen. So I hope you give that a go, and let me know how you get on. In the next video, we'll have a look at adapting that method to a wilderness environment and using sawn timbers and natural fibres instead of the planks and cotton wool to create a Rüdiger or fire roll in a wilderness environment. Cheerio.